What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode. Mom wanted to do a video, so here we are.
Hey y'all.
Hey.
Wow, so upbeat today.
Oh.
Got my wireless microphone. I actually ordered one, so I don't have to complain about the wind noise in all the videos. So hopefully
What?
it's all right.
You'll complain about something. You'll find something to complain about.
No, I mean I'm thinking about stuff that they might complain about, but no, I don't. I understand watching a video and when there's a bunch of wind noise in the back, it kind of turns you off a little bit. So do videos that are kind of when the phone's not completely level. But hey,
Hey,
that's all right.
you're saying we look crooked?
I think it's a little
Wonga.
wonga, but hey, it's all right. I think it needs to be more like this.
Yeah, just a hair.
Good enough.
That might be a little much.
Wow.
Does it look like
Now it's the other way. Now it's like we're on a boat.
you're
leaning-
toppling down on
and
me?
everybody on the roller coaster. So, Mom, you and Matt had some kind of bug. I don't know if you still. Hopefully, you still don't have it.
I feel like I have a cold and kind of feverish. That's how I feel.
And
Slept a lot.
it felt like my sinuses were draining. Felt like a little bit raw, but
You didn't say that. Well, yeah, that sore throat.
yeah, it wasn't really sore. It was just kind of aggravated.
I mean, you've had it piled on you, hadn't you?
Well, I tell you, that
Your back?
sciatica, between that, because it switches, sometimes it goes down both sides. And then it'll change and go down one side, and the other side feels okay, and then all of a sudden the other side kicks in, and then the other side will go away. And it goes back, and then it hit my knee.
How
Oh,
long's that been going on?
weeks.
But the knee was new last night, right?
Yeah, just all of a sudden felt like I guess what they call a meniscus in your knee, felt like it was just torn, just ripped.
Well, we were in the pool, and you were getting out. Ooh, I just went through puberty. Excuse me
It's
now.
about time.
Yeah. It only took 40 years, almost 40. Not quite at 40 yet, but
But
you were getting out of the pool, and you just kind of fell back.
well, I felt pretty good relaxing in the pool, hanging on the float that he had bought me, and letting my body just dangle, and I'd move my legs and stuff, and I felt pretty decent. And I started coming out of the pool, and I was stepping up the steps, and it was fine until I got to the very top. And I stepped up with my right leg, and then just all of a sudden, it's like it just gave
Went out.
out, and so I fell backwards in the pool. But I mean, that didn't hurt me any because I fell into the water. But it was my left knee just in the night, just all of a sudden, just started. I mean, really hurting.
Just
That's so weird.
starting last night.
Yeah. And the whole side of the left side of my knee. But I know I had a test done a while back when they came to the house, remember?
Yeah.
And they poke you and tell you when you can feel, not feel, and everything. Well, my left leg, they said, there's something there. You don't have as good a response on the left side. Maybe I might need to go in and get checked. I told him, I said, well, I had just been finished, welding all those pipes and stuff that we were welding for the fence. And I was squatting down, laying on my legs and stuff. And I told her, I said, it's probably because it's kind of numb from laying down on my side. And but even right now, I can definitely feel up and down my leg that there's really no feeling,
Same.
where you can
My left side only.
you can touch it with the needle and it, I can feel it, but it doesn't hurt, So
Let
I
me
know
try.
I think it's
I bet you feel it.
I
Or
just
that
think it's the
slipping.
sciatic nerve is what's causing the issues. Because once I find a sweet spot,
You can keep going.
or I put something on it that will help relieve the pain, whether it's ice or whether it's heat, I'm okay. So I know it's not like, continual whether I treat it or not. Like before, when the cancer was in my bones, in my hip area, it doesn't feel like that.
So you don't think it's anything to do with the cancer?
No, I don't think it's related to that. Well, it could be related, but I don't think it is. It's just my sciatica.
Well, I think what triggered a lot of this was when I was up in Oklahoma, Dad decided to be a ding-dong in the nicest way.
Well, I went
and
out.
go out there and mowed on the tractor and
A big field.
with bumps in it and all. He knew it's bumpy, and I don't know why he did it.
Yeah, it's about 4 acres, 5 acres, something
I
like
could have
that.
done it.
And, well, I just felt like I could get out there and do it, and I was banging around pretty good on some of them. Had some pretty good hits.
That's where
but
your hip started, I think, hurting.
right after that is when I started having problems. So I thought, well, it just messed up
So that's been a
my
minute.
vertebrae down low. And anyway, I got a little traction table that I've been using.
Torture table is what it looks like.
But I have to do it very slow and a little bit at a time because it just, I can't relax.
And that tinge unit, did that help any?
Sometimes it does, and sometimes it aggravates it.
What is a tinge unit?
It's impulses, electrical impulse. Put these little pads on, and it sits there and shocks your muscles and stuff.
I
and-
believe somebody bought it from Matt, didn't they, whenever his back was hurting?
Yeah, I think he got it when he had his back hurt. And sometimes it relieves a little of the pain, but then afterwards, it's just aggravated really bad. But so I,
It's kind of like marriage.
I don't
Not
use
that I
it
would
all
know.
the time because of that. And sometimes heat aggravates it, and then sometimes cold aggravates it. So I'm kind of caught in between. What do? Heat, cold, go back and forth. But I normally take ibuprofen and Tylenol at the same time, concoction of it, and
Which is kind of equal to,
a Vicodin.
all I know about Vicodin is that Dr. House used to use
Well,
that.
you can get hooked on Vicodin. It's an opioid, but I had some oxycodone tablets that I had when I had surgery a couple of years back. I just never used it, because I don't want to get hooked on that. And but the pain gets so bad, I had to use it. And I only got one more pill left, and I took that and the concoction of Tylenol and stuff, which you can
That's
take.
great.
Well, you can take them, but you do it a certain time apart. And
You were feeling better for a little bit. I mean, when I say better, you were able to move around. That day you were over here when we were doing my bedroom wall, you said you wanted to get up and move around.
yeah,
And
I was stiff.
no
My-
heavy lifting.
I could feel it, tense in my back and stuff like that, but it wasn't to a point where I just, couldn't move. But there's times where I can't even hardly get up and walk, because of the sciatic nerve. And I know there's a lot of people say do this, exercise, and
Maybe somebody will comment something that you can try. I mean, you never know. It could
Yeah.
be something that you didn't think of that.
You used to go to a chiropractor
Yeah.
years back.
well, I just don't trust any of the chiropractors now.
Well, with your cancer too, I don't know if they would.
They may not.
They may not.
Because of the
They would-
medication I'm taking makes my bones brittle.
Old age does too.
Wow.
He's older than me,
I got a bone to pick with you too. In a
But
minute.
yeah,
Not you.
they may not, try to pop my bones because of that.
Mom can do it
so,
for free.
I used to walk on his back.
Yeah,
That was
Well,
That's
that's
probably
really
why
low.
it's hurting.
that was probably
that was
my upper
long
back,
time ago.
because I'd always have issues with my upper back. But this is down around the sacroiliac and
The what?
sacroiliac.
Around your sack?
it's the bottom section of my hips. Those vertebrae in there is where all my issues are.
Back pain's the worst.
And that's the one that the sciatic nerves go through those, and if they're off impinging it, then, it starts setting off that pain down your leg. And
But other than that,
I think I'm doing good. I don't hurt in my collarbone or any of my other bones. Normally I can tell where the cancer is.
pretty spot on with it too.
Yeah, because I'll say, hey, it's right here. I know it's there. And then when I go in for a bone scan and stuff, yep, there it is. It shows up.
But as far as that's going, you have any updates on? You had your last procedure.
Yeah, we did our last Provenge procedure and had a bad reaction with that again, but
Not as bad as the time before, though.
it was
right?
close. But
That's common though with that.
yeah,
procedure.
they said it would happen, and plus my sciatica, it just aggravated it really, really bad, and but
No more of those.
yeah, I'm through with those. I can't have any more of them, and
Got a blood donor shirt out of it.
Yeah, I noticed that everybody had one except for me.
And you weren't there.
That
They didn't offer to
procedure-
send any home.
that procedure is very, very expensive. If anybody's going to be doing that, I hope you have insurance, because it was $59,000 for 3 treatments, and my insurance paid all but $6,000, and that was my share. And I had applied for, well, I think that through Medicare, and the doctors, they granted me a grant for reimbursements for co-pays and things like that. Well, it paid for the co-pay like on the injection I get, so I wasn't out of pocket there with the insurance. And then this one, like I said, it left over $6,000 for me to pay. Well, the grant that I have, I got notified by them, and it said, hey, we're paying the doctors this. So it paid $5,900 or something in some change. So if I owe anything, it's just what they call administrative fee, probably a couple of $100 to get that.
It's
So
pretty amazing.
it's just if you have to go through something like that, always see if your doctors or anything would help you apply for a grant, because it's out there to help.
How'd you know about it, the grant?
They notified me, the grant company through Medicare
Oh,
sent me a letter saying, hey, you're eligible for $8,000 grant for reimbursements on your co-pays and things like that. And I've submitted several claims, and you get denied on a lot of them, but the payments to the doctors and stuff, they pay those right away. There's no issues about that. And I'm just thankful, that I have that. So probably maxed out my out-of-pocket expense on my insurance, so now it should be kicking in, 100% anytime I go to, have stuff done. So hopefully keep my fingers crossed. But
so no more of those kind of treatments. That was
I cannot have those treatments anymore. That was a one-time thing. And if you don't know what the Provenge is, you can look it up, or just a brief synopsis of what it does is they extract, takes about 4 hours, but they pull out white blood cells, T cells, out of my body. They send it off, they inject it with Provenge, which is specifically for prostate cancers, and not other cancers, for prostate. And it teaches the T cells to look for prostate cancer. So when they get the infusion back in my body, which those were the reactions that I were having, they said that I would have, when it goes back into my body, it's going around throughout my body searching for the prostate cells, the cancer cells, and it's supposed to kill them. So it's like a killer T cell on steroids. So
Do you feel anything different after all those treatments?
no, like I said, I don't. Other than my sciatica,
Seem like you'd be back to normal.
yeah, I would feel like I would be back to normal.
the first time we went, Jared took us, and you didn't have any reaction.
Right. I
So the
just had a
second
slight
time-
headache, and that was about it. the
Second
first
time we thought we don't need them to go.
I
we'll
said
go.
I'd be available in any of
I
them.
know. Well, then you and Matt both had to come over there and rescue us that time.
Oh
so
yeah,
the
it
next
hit
time
hard
Matt
on
went,
that one, and then this time around, I told them right up front. I said, "My arm's a little cool. Go ahead and give me some blankets and turn the heater on," and because I knew the chills were were starting, and
Well, it's cold when they inject it in, right?
yeah, it's real cold, And so anyway, I started having reactions, and kind of a blessing in disguise. When I bent my arm, the needle that they had in my arm, the IV, I guess it wasn't set all the way in deep enough, and it crimped on it, so it wasn't going in. So they had to try to put it in different veins. They were having problems. They kept saying my veins were blown, you know, and
Now you look like you've been living on the street.
yeah, like I've been shooting up. But she finally got one vein that held up real good, but in the meantime it let my body kind of warm up, so I didn't have the chills anymore. And it was only the last 15-20 minutes of having my cells put back in me, and I was fine after that. It just
And they slowed it way down. It was
Yeah.
supposed to be like 2 hours, and it ended up being like 4.
almost 4 hours by the time they got everything done. And then they gave me a bunch of, well, Tylenol, and then what's the allergy stuff? Benadryl. They give me
yeah.
some heavy dosage of Benadryl, which is supposed to counter the chills and help me relax. So I was real drowsy for that. And we got home about 4 o'clock that afternoon. I climbed in bed and didn't get up till 6 the next morning.
Hell, that sounds like a typical day for y'all.
For me, anyway.
But other than that, like I said, if it wasn't for the sciatica issues, I think we could get this house finished.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna start working on the sheetrock, like I was saying on the live chat. I'm gonna try to do smaller sections, and then you can still be over here and kind of just balance it.
Yeah, I mean, I told him I'd help him as
Just-
much as I could. You know, I just can't lift anything at this
And then I'll
point.
try to get Matt's help whenever he has days off to do it. But
He's been sick, so
I'll try to. I'll get it when I get it. That's all I got to say about that. But I do have some stuff coming in today. Ooh, almost fell off the couch here.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
Wow, you're laughing at me in pain over here.
that'll help him out. you
Yeah,
know.
and I was planning on having a video out today, but I don't know when when the stuff's gonna get here. But when it does, I'll try to put a video out, and whether it's today, tomorrow, Monday, whenever. But
I hope it's a load of watermelons.
Ooh,
Is that what you're getting?
I wish.
watermelons would be good.
Wouldn't that be
They're
good?
expensive down here, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jason. Speaking of watermelon, Jason was texting me when we were going up to the Frio River that trip. He was asking me to go buy some watermelons down here, and he said, just go to one of them stands on the side of the highway. And he said the ones here in Rivera, they're expensive.
Yeah,
There used to be people that would just have them out in the fields over here
Now,
selling all the time.
our niece's little son, I'm sure he's probably going to set up a trailer out here pretty soon.
Yeah, I bought some last year from him. They're real good. So,
So maybe we'll get us some watermelon that way.
do you have any updates on you, Mom? Anything going on? You feeling good besides
I
the
don't.
little sickness?
I don't feel good. I feel like I got a cold and fever, and that's it. I just feel sleepy
But
and
she
hot.
does have an appointment on the
Oh, yeah.
12th, I think it is.
That's next week sometime.
Yeah.
In Corpus or what?
Yeah. It's
For the
going to the
neurologist.
neurologist, so
That has to do with that
Episode.
So
whatever
I had-
episode she had,
Yeah.
whether it shows up anything or not, we don't know. We'll just
It
see
probably
if
will
she's
be
not
blank.
firing on all the cylinders.
I ain't
Like,
got no cylinders to
Melanie,
fire
you don't
on.
have anything in your head.
We'll find out, if there's anything happening upstairs. But hopefully not, and if it could just been one of those
Stress.
episodes, stress, and she
I
was
believe
under
that.
the weather at that time with the virus that she had gotten,
Yeah, we were both sick
same
that
one
time.
that y'all had.
Now, if I get sick next week, you can blame this in our ear for coming over here and infesting my house.
But yeah, it's other than that doom and gloom, we're all doing pretty good.
Hey.
Hey, everybody goes through that where the family gets sick and then
Yeah.
you get over it and move forward. And like I said, this
And we read comments. We appreciate all y'all's prayers for us. We really do. It means a lot.
Yeah, and we know it works. Like I said, it's just something you got to go through. You get our age and with our issues, it just happens.
yeah, we're old. We're all in our 70s now.
Yeah, you're fixing to be older.
It's hard to believe that, less than 2 years I'll be 70. That's just unreal. I can't even comprehend that.
I know.
70.
It could be worse. You could be turning 40.
That's-
So there was a question on the live chat. I think Mom answered it, but when did you start getting gray hairs?
It was probably about when I was approaching 50 years old.
Wow, what happened to us?
That's late.
Well, I mean,
Not for no. There's people.
I had a few in my beard. It wasn't much, not like y'all.
like
but,
Matt had. He had quite a bit when he was 40, and then Jason is. I mean, his.
I think that's from you.
Probably is. I colored my hair black for so many
Yeah,
years.
she would have been gray when she was 30 years old.
Probably.
I just noticed it's probably the last 6 months is when my gray really started coming in more.
Yeah, yours.
Like my beard was. I had this when I worked at 811 before I started doing YouTube. I started having 2 or 3 little gray hairs. That was in when I was about 30,
Pluck them out.
35
Yeah,
or
you
so. And I had them
probably
because I would name them after the people that were in my department.
The ones that stressed you
Yeah,
out.
and then when I started doing YouTube and stuff, and then just out of nowhere, this started getting more and more and started spreading. And then I noticed when I was looking on the live chat yesterday, the longer my hair is getting, I can start seeing it a lot more. So
Yeah, well, you're lucky that your
that I got
hair color was more like mine.
and I got a full head of hair too. Somebody, I think it was Ken G. That's why I always cover it up. I just like wearing hats. But anyways, I think this is long enough. Wow, 21 minutes.
What?
Great.
Wow, now we're starting to act like Jason.
Ooh.
Hey, Jason gets the talking from someone. I mean, y'all do the percentage on the talking this one. It's starting to seem like a Jason and a Danielle. We're the Danielle, that's the Jason.
He had a lot to say.
All right, then turn it off.
Anyways, we will end it. Like I said, I got some stuff coming in today. Hope you guys are excited as I am for it. This will definitely change the way I live in this house. And
Is it a woman coming?
Oh, you can't pay enough money to have a woman live with me, Mom. You know, they wouldn't want to live over here. So,
I'd feel for that girl.
hey, she'd be a smoking fox if I have one over here.
Hey, yeah.
And that's why I don't have one over here. So, anyways, I'm gonna end this. All right, guys, y'all have a good day, and
We'll see you
stay
later.
tuned for the next video.
Bye.
Peace.